Do you wish to still proceed without an attorney?
I just want to know, where do you get your powers?
wish
Are
to
you an Article
proceed-
3 judge or an Article 6 judge?
A defendant start by challenging the judge's very authority to hear the case. Asking if the judge is Article 3 or Article 6 isn't a legal defense. It's a sovereign citizen-style tactic. Right away, you know this hearing won't go smoothly.
The complaint does allege that on March 27, 2004, you committed the offense of operating while intoxicated. Do you understand what you're charged with?
I do not.
Not understand
There is
that?
no eyewitnesses or corroborating witnesses at all.
I'm not asking whether or not the proofs are there. Do you understand what you were charged with?
I do not.
Do you understand the notion of drunk driving?
I do not understand how I could be
We've been
charged with
through this
something without a
before on
witness.
your other cases when
How he avoids answering the simplest question. Do you understand the charges? Instead, he argues about witnesses. This isn't the trial phase. The judge is just explaining what he's accused of, but Daniel refuses to acknowledge even that.
because it's a third offense that is a felony, it is punishable by up to $500 to $5,000, up 1 to 5 years incarceration. The court can order probation, 30 days to 1 year in jail, or at least 48 hours must be conserved consecutively. The court can also order community service, rehabilitative programs. The court can also order your vehicle immobilized, can order you to pay the cost of the prosecution, as well as the cost of any emergency governmental services.
The judge is spelling out the real consequences here. Years in prison, thousands in fines, even losing his vehicle. But instead of paying attention, Daniel drifts into legal fantasy.
As I am here and as a trust, Your Honor, I am here in exclusive equity. Exclusive equity.
You count 2 on that complaint is the charge of operating while license suspended, denied, and or revoked. That is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 93 days in jail, $500 fine plus court costs, and your vehicle could be subject to immobilization.
My license is
Count
canceled,
3.
not suspended or revoked. It is canceled through the state
on
of
that
Michigan.
complaint
Canceled.
is the charge of escape from lawful custody. That is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 1 year, a $1,000 fine.
I was never arrested or read any Miranda rights accordingly.
Here's where the trust argument surfaces. He claims his license is canceled, not suspended, and that somehow changes everything. To anyone watching, this sounds confusing, but legally, it's meaningless. The court sees it as stalling.
Sir, there is great peril in representing yourself. You will be held to the same standards as anybody apply or for.
This is a matter under the Eastern District of Michigan Federal Court. Case number 2511226.
We're not represented by counsel. I would further indicate, sir, that at any point during these proceedings, if you wish to be represented by counsel, you can make that request to the court and counsel would be appointed to represent. Because of the defendant's conduct in the past in not acknowledging the court and what the court is saying, the court does make the presumption that he does.
The judge does something important here, warns him that self-representation is dangerous. Courts have to give that warning so later, the defendant can't claim he didn't know what he was doing.
Represent him in this matter, and he apparently wishes to proceed.
Were you served your notice
Having
and summons
notice
for federal
of
court?
the charges, sir, do you wish to still proceed without an attorney?
I just want to know, where do you get
Do
your
you
powers?
wish
Are
to
you an Article
proceed?
3 judge or an Article 6 judge? Where
Do
are your
you
vested
wish to
powers? Can you
proceed
answer
without
that?
an attorney?
You can't even answer
look
me
it
where your
up.
powers are.
You can look it up.
No, you guys disconnected my access to any kind of law library or anything. You are an Article 6 judge under the Michigan Constitution. You have no authority to deprive me of my
You'll
rights.
see how much authority I have.
Yet, Daniel doubles down, insisting the judge has no authority. At this point, the court is running on patience. Challenges like this don't erase charges. They just irritate the judge. Clip 7. This moment is critical. The prosecutor lays out why Daniel is such a risk. Fake diplomat plates, refusing to identify himself, multiple OWI cases, failing to appear in court. It paints a picture of someone who won't follow the rules, no matter what.
Your Honor, I do think it's important that the court have some additional information, and I would like to ask the court to revisit the issue of bond. First and foremost, I think it's important the court know that the facts alleged in the newest case, the 25F30979, it does include the fact that the Michigan State trooper who pulled the defendant over noted in his police report that the defendant had a license on his vehicle that indicated he was a diplomat and that he refused to identify himself. He refused for quite a bit of time. Additional units had to be brought to the scene from the sheriff's department in order to have a better term, deal with the situation. And ultimately, they were able to identify him as the defendant, Daniel Magoo. The concern with that goes along with the other case, which is an OWI. It is charged as a third. I will note that it is a true fourth, to the best of my understanding. So there does appear to be an alcohol problem going on. And I also think it's important for this court to know, because I don't know that the court knows, the defendant has a third new case, telecommunications malicious use with a domestic relationship, that is currently pending as well. He's also been set $10,000, 10% in that matter. But I think
Where is that case out of?
that case is out of 14B, Your Honor, before Judge Washington.
A co-defendants with the federal case that you guys are both in, and this is a conflict of interest as both of you guys are defendants in my federal case.
Go ahead.
I also understand, Your Honor, that there is a municipal case out of Canton Township that was set for a jury trial in April of this year, where the defendant failed to appear. And there were jurors, there was a veneer that had been brought in. And I bring all of this up to say, Your Honor, that the people are concerned about the defendant's ability to remain law-abiding, because I'll also note for the record.
Daniel tries to counter by saying he has an international driver's permit and that all contracts with Michigan are void. To him, that sounds like a shield. But in reality, it's another attempt to sidestep accountability.
His bond's been denied in that.
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor.
Got it. Anything you'd like to say?
Anything to do with any contracts with the state of Michigan are void ab initio for a matter of law, as I have an canceled driver's license and I have an international driver's permit. And that also relates to the Canton case that they're trying to stick me for a driving unlicensed suspended citation, in which that I have an international driver's permit, making it also void. All of my matters, including the vehicle that I'm registered under, are registered to the federal government, not the state, under the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. All of these charges are frivolous and a part of a long pattern of malicious prosecution by Ms. Londy, the Washtenaw County Prosecutor's Office, and quite frankly, you, Your Honor.
Finally, the judge cuts through it all. Bond jumps from $10,000 to $50,000.
Hearing argument regarding bond, the court does believe that it was an abuse of discretion given the circumstances of this defendant to set his bond at the $10,000 figure. After hearing argument, viewing the file, the court does believe that not only does the defendant pose a risk to the public,
No
I
victims.
do believe that the defendant is a risk of flight given those circumstances, and has indeed, or at least is charged in this case, refused to obey or fled and eluded.
That was added on afterwards.
Police
The police officer did not report that
No
at all.
reasons the court, given those circumstances, would in each case raise the defendant's bond, grant the people's motion. Defendant's bond in each matter is set in the amount of $50,000 cash here.
That's a huge increase, and it tells you the court has lost trust that Daniel will obey conditions if released. This is where the judge draws a hard line.